morning, dear students. This is your Sudha ma'am. Welcome to the third session of lesson 8, that is air, winds, and cyclones. In our previous session, we have studied about activity related to air pressure, which reveals us that air moves from high pressure regions to low pressure regions, how winds are created, and effects of moving air. In this session, we are studying about wind and uneven heating of the earth and about cyclones. Let's start our session. Wind, the uneven heating on earth. In this topic, we are learning about subtopics, that is uneven heating between equator and poles, and the second one is uneven heating of land and water. Let's learn about uneven heating between equator and poles. The region close to the equator get maximum heat from the sun, as they are, equator means center, that is why it receives maximum heat from the sun. The air in these regions gets warm. The warm air rises and the cool air from the regions in the 0 to 30 degrees latitude belt on either side of the equator moves in. So, between 0 to 30 degrees latitude, the warm air rises up due to the heat of the sun. So, the cool air enters into that region. These winds blow from the north and south towards the equator, from the north and from the south, on both the sides of the equator they enters in. At the poles, the air is colder than the latitudes, about 60 degrees. So, near the equator it is too hot when compared to 60 degrees latitude, and near the poles it is too cool. So, the warm air from these latitudes rises up and the cold wind from the polar regions rushes in to take place. So, the cool wind from the, as it is much cooler, this warm air rises up, so the cool winds occupy that place. In this way, wind circulation is set up from the poles to the warmer latitudes. The winds would have flown in the north-south direction, from north to south, or from south to north. A change in direction is, however, caused by the rotation of the earth, and sometimes the direction may change because of the rotation of the earth. And this is about the peak. This peak is about that. The black arrows denotes the cooler air coming from the 30 degrees latitudes towards equator, and the red arrows denotes the cool air coming from the poles towards 60 degrees latitude, and also warm air from 60 degrees rising up. Moving on to the second subtopic, that is uneven heating between land and water. In summer, near the equator, the land heats up faster, and during the day, the temperature of the land is higher than the water in the sea. Already this phenomenon we learnt in sea breeze and land breeze. The air over the land gets heated and rises. This causes winds to flow from the oceans towards the land. These are called monsoon winds. So, the air gets heated up and rises. This causes the winds from the oceans towards the land, like what we call it as sea breeze. So, these are called monsoon winds, and these usually occur in the months of June to September. And the direction of wind flow gets usually reversed. So, in the September month we will get these monsoon winds, and during December to March, early March, this is in the reverse manner. That means the wind flow from land to ocean as sea cools more slowly. The wind from the oceans carry water and bring rains. So farmers in this season they start harvesting their crop. We can also generate energy from the high speed wind. From the wind, we can make out electricity also by using the wind energy. Thus, we can see the usefulness of winds in our life. And this is all about the uneven heating of land and water, which creates sea breeze and land breeze. Already we have discussed earlier. Now, moving on to the next topic, that is about cyclones. Cyclones are a form of violent storms on the earth. What do you mean by storm? A storm is nothing but a strong winds accompanied usually rain, thunders and lightning. So, a cyclone is a form of violent storm. People call these storms by names such as typhoons, hurricanes, etc., depending upon the place it occurs. Suppose if it occurs in Atlantic Ocean and Northeast Pacific regions, then the people call them hurricanes. If they occur in Northwest Pacific, then it is named as typhoon. And if it occurs South Pacific and Indian Ocean, then we call them as cyclones. And let us understand the phenomenon of cyclones by the following activity. Take a glass containing water and two straws. Keep one straw in the water and another in horizontal direction as shown and blow through the horizontal straw. Blow air through by using the horizontal straw. When you blow over the straw, the water comes out due to the low pressure which forms inside the straw. So, if you blow the air in the horizontal straw, low pressure is created. So, the water from the glass comes out by another straw which is already kept inside. So, the water from the glass reaches up the straw due to high pressure. Already we know that air moves from high pressure to low pressure. So, in this way, the cyclones also form. Moving on to the next topic, that is formation of cyclones. A cyclone is a large scale air mass that rotates around strong centers of low pressure. So, it is formed around a low pressure and it is a large mass of air. Water vapors are formed when water is heated. Already we know this phenomena. When water gets heated up by the sun, water vapors are formed. This heat is released to atmosphere when water vapor convert to water during rains. The water vapor rises up and it forms clouds, and from the clouds we get rain. But the heat which is released, that heat is released into the atmosphere. The heat released warms the air. So whatever the heat is released, it warms the air around and make it to move up. As it becomes heated up, again it moves up. This also results in decrease in air pressure. Hence, cooler air from the surrounding rushes to take up the warm air place. So, the air from cooler areas takes the place of that warm air place. This repeats till a low pressure system with surrounding high speed winds is created. This is called a cyclone. Cyclones depend on wind speed, direction, temperature and humidity. These four factors influence the formation of cyclones, that is wind speed of the wind and the direction, in which direction it is occurring or forming, and the temperature and humidity. Humidity is nothing but the moisture in the air is called humidity. and destruction caused by the cyclones. Cyclones can be very destructive. The main effects of cyclones include heavy rain and strong wind. So, the destruction of a cyclone depends upon mainly on its intensity, that means how stronger it is, and its size, and where it is formed, its location, where it is formed, and its wind speed, and about its intensity and size. And moving on to the cyclones, do's and don'ts, that means what to do and what not to do. We should not ignore the warnings issued by the meteorological department through the TVs, radios, and newspapers. So, the government, they take the meteorological department, they announce the cyclone, how far it is, and how many days it will be, and which areas it covers, all that they announce half an hour, half an hour. Nowadays, they are continuously giving information about that. So, we must not ignore that. Sometimes the fishermen, they ignore and they simply go for hunting to the seas, but for the fish, but they may fall in danger sometimes. So, we should not ignore. And this information we should pass on to others. And at the same time, we have to ignore the rumors. Sometimes rumors may spread like nearby canal is over flooded, so water is entering into the houses, so vacate the houses, like that. Some people, they spread the rumors, but we should not rely them, we should ignore, and we have to wait for the government orders. If it is really happens, then the government only gives us the instructions. When a cyclone alert is on for your area, continue normal working. We can go for our regular work, but stay alert to radio warnings or TV warnings. Next, we should make necessary arrangement to shift essential household goods, domestic animals and vehicles, etc., to safer places. So, if at all needed, we have to be ready for the transfer, for the shifting of these essential goods, domestic animals, and our vehicles to the safer places. And we must switch off all the electrical mains in our houses, and keep ready the phone numbers of emergency services like police, fire brigade, and medical centers. So, suppose if there is emergency, any emergency, so we may call police or fire brigade, fire service people, and or medical centers. And we must pack some essential things for our family for a few days, like medicine and some foods like biscuits, etc., which can easily, no need to cook, and for babies and old people. So, we have to pack some essential things also. And post cyclone measures, suppose if you are staying in a cyclone hit area, then strictly avoid any loose and moving wires. We should not go out first of all. Suppose if at all you are going out, so we should not touch the loose and moving wires. And we must we drink only the safe, good water only. We should not drink the contaminated water. So, before itself, we have to store some water for the drinking purpose. Do not go out for the sake of fun. That means how much destruction caused, what happened there, here, what happens, like that. We should not go out. For the fun sake also, we should not go out. And cooperate and help your neighbors and friends. Cyclone whereabouts. Advancement in the technology has helped us a lot. These days, we are better protected when compared to olden days. These days, we are better protected because we are getting announcements, and we are getting free information before itself. In the last century, people used to take time to evacuate their homes from an oncoming cyclone. But these days, we are receiving information much earlier due to satellites and radars. So, we are better aware of the situation. So, we know the situation very well. So before itself we are getting the information. So this information regarding cyclones will be given by Indian Meteorological Department, that is IMD, so that the government will take necessary steps to prevent the damage to the crops, animals, people and property. And lastly, about the anemometer. The wind speed plays an important role in the formation of storms. So, it is therefore important to measure the wind speed. This can be measured by an instrument called anemometer. So, anemometer is the instrument to measure the wind speed. And let us recapitulate, let us summarize today's topics. Today we have studied about the uneven heating of earth and the cyclone formation and do's and don'ts of cyclone and whereabouts of cyclone. That's all for today. Meet you in the next session. Thank you.